Thank you, Mr. President. First, I would like to start by congratulating our rapporteur for a very interesting report, well-researched and well-presented. Some points that come out of it, though, will need further elaboration. It is clear that competition is one of the major functions of the Commission at the moment. It's become one of the most important political arms and economic arms of how it acts. And therefore, it's important to be both appreciative of what's going on and critical. I think the report we have before us starts on that line. It's appreciative while being at the same time critical. There are a number of perils, though, in the way by which competition policy is being marshalled at the moment. First of all, for representatives in this Parliament who come from smaller states, the analysis sometimes made of how competition proceeds is that it's too much of a one-size-fits-all approach. And that is, it's wrong. It's wrong to have this approach of a one-size-fits-all, especially as in a number of cases, the way in which things get applied do not make proper distinction between regions and regions, between countries and countries, between economic situations and economic situations. And I think we should be aware of this. Competition applied on a one-size-fits-all approach across the Union is going to be counterproductive at the periphery. On another point as well, we have to be clear that regulation is important, but over-regulation can be a problem, can cause new problems, can cause bureaucratization. And too many rules, too many procedures, too many amendments to procedures, too many investigations, too many slow ways of doing things hurt business and hurt jobs. And that is something that sometimes can be said vis-à-vis the operations of the competition arm of the Commission. There is sometimes too many delays in how files are treated, leading to bottlenecks in the implementation of decisions by governments and by corporations. There are two extremes, in fact, in how these things work out in concrete terms. On one extreme, there's how peripheral regions, island regions, isolated regions sometimes get treated. The case, for instance, of Cyprus Airways, not so long ago, where a decision was taken and things were operated in such a way that Cyprus Airways had to be dissolved. Now, Cyprus Airways and transport airlines of that sort in peripheral regions have no way by which they can affect competition on a major scale in the Union. They have a minor segment of the market, a regional segment of the market. They can be justified on infrastructural grounds, and applying to them one-size-fits-all competition rules simply is not on. It's not a good idea. At the other extreme, the Union is not being sufficiently competitive on world markets. We are facing global competition in a big way. And it's quite clear that, in competitive terms, Union enterprises have not been up to scratch in global terms. The perils, the competitive threats are increasing, not least with the recent signing of the TPP approach between the US and Pacific countries. And that is going to create a framework where state aid on a massive scale can still be used to compete with community enterprises. So I think at this extreme as well, we have to critically evaluate whether our approach on competition is going to really encourage Union champions to be able to compete on a global scale. That has got to be part of a critical assessment of how, on the larger scale of enterprises, we need to have mechanisms that give them real push on global markets, even if it is against competitive rules as conceived at present. The TPP is going to be a big challenge to community enterprises on global markets. And it is going to allow state aids on a basis that are not allowed in the Union. And that, I think, we have to critically evaluate as we go forward. I would like to congratulate as well the rapporteur for his treatment of the digital economy. I think he's right on the ball in saying that we need to have different criteria of assessing how competitive stances is to be introduced and operated. But perhaps as well, we need to think about how to encourage smaller enterprises in a proactive way. without falling foul of competition policy. There are lots and lots of young entrepreneurs coming into that sector, and we need to think about how there could be central aids, central assistance, state aids as well, to be able to push them forward, to be able to keep inside the market. A final point. I think the rapporteur has made a very good presentation about the need to distinguish between the legislator and the implementer of the regulations. It is clear that you can't be judge and jury at the same time. It's a very important point. I know that at the Commission it's creating a bit of tensions because the Commission